the concept of being alive is quite different from person to person. What we call alive, what we call life itself is different from person to person. We know that there is a concept that's called hashpa'at mitzvot. In other words, you do a mitzvah that leaves some kind of a residue after that. For example, like Shabbat, right? After Shabbat, the kedusha of Shabbat, the holiness of Shabbat, prolong itself further down, right? And that's what we do. We have Melaveh Malkah, and then the kedusha of Shabbat extends basically until Tuesday. So it's for everything else. Every mitzvah that we do, everything that we do. And that residue that is left after we do the mitzvah is what allows us to continue in the momentum to do other mitzvot. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah. A mitzvah causes another. It's a chain reaction. I do one, then the other. Do one, do the other. And so on and so forth. We need to understand that the Torah is the essence of Am Yisrael. The Torah is the essence of Am Yisrael. Nishmat Am Yisrael. That's our soul. And a person that learns Torah lives life on a totally different realm. What do I mean? When we had the Gra tells us that when we had Beit HaMikdash, the livelihood of Am Yisrael was completely different. Not only the Chagim, the holidays were different, but the whole way Am Yisrael carried himself was completely different. The Mikdash, the temple, and the Temple Mount in Jerusalem was the center of the Jewish people. That was its heart, its core. And there was tremendous chayut, livelihood, that came because of this place that's called Mikdash. The Shekhinah was there, Hasharat Shekhinah, and divine presence, and so on and so forth. And Am Yisrael was vigor, was alive. As a result of that, we had those people we called Tanaim, and so on and so forth. And they were great. Great Talmidei Chachamim. There was a chayut doing the mitzvah. Beit HaMikdash was taken, the Gra tells us, things are not the same. The Talmidei Chachamim at the time is not Talmidei Chachamim as after. It's not the same. And there is a decline. And we need to understand that if you leave things like this, for example, if a person would not be involved in this constant movement, even if he's completely healthy, if you take a person who is completely healthy in his mind and in his body, and you leave him in state of boredom, sir, you don't have to do anything. Just sit at home, nothing. Of course, you can watch YouTube, and you can watch, watch me movies, I don't know, whatever these things. All day long, you get up in the morning, you eat, and you just sit there waiting. You can't do anything. Don't, you're not going to do a thing. Slowly, his health, both physical and mental, will decline. To the point that this person will die. So is Am Yisrael. When you don't learn Torah, your life is not called life. Your life is not called life. We know Rav Yonatan Eibschitz said about, and Mishnah Berurah brings it, what he says in Sefer Ya'arat Advash, he says, a person that doesn't learn Hilchot Shabbat, you don't learn Halachot Shabbat, most likely is going to violate Shabbat. It's very, very difficult not to violate Shabbat. If you're not learning it, not because I'm aware of it, because something else is completely different. because of that impact that it has on me. What do I mean? If I learn Masechet Shabbat, I remember when I was learning for Smicha, one of my friends told me. I said to him, because he was learning for Smicha at the time also. So I said, we kind of at the end, things. He got married, so he couldn't do it. And I said, why don't you just finish? You started, you finished this. He said to me, I already achieved a great deal of what I need to achieve. I said, knowledge, there's no end to that. He says, you don't understand. He was a Yeshiva Bachor. It's not just a guy who came from the street. He said, I thought I was keeping kosher. Until I start to learn Basar Bechalav, until I start to learn Melicha, until I start to learn Treifot, until I started to learn all these halachot. He says, right now, I'm very aware of those things. I'm very makpid on these things. So even if I don't finish, even that is a tremendous achievement. The way I observe kashrut is not like it used to be. And so is true. If you learn Masechet Shabbat, I'm going to tell you this. The way you're going to keep Shabbat is going to be different. Not only that you're going to be more careful because of your awareness, because you know it. Because it does something to you. Now you feel more a part of it. You learn Masechet Pesachim. Guess what? Your Pesach is going to be different. You understand things. It leaves an impact inside of you. You learn Masechet Rosh Hashanah, your Rosh Hashanah will be different. You learn Masechet Yomah, Yom Kippur is going to be different. You learn every other Masechta, and you become different. It changes you. Your whole experience, your whole Jewish experience becomes different. So if you come in and tell me that your Jewish experience is in non-existence, I'll tell you, you don't learn a thing. Most likely you don't learn a thing. The problem is with you. You're not experiencing anything. Lahavdil, lahavdil, lahavdil. Right? I'm going to tell you, smoking a joint doesn't do anything to me. So you're going to ask me, did you ever smoked one? So of course not. So how can you say it's not for you? You don't feel anything. Then you understand. You're going to tell me, go ahead, try it. Go, try a little bit. But when I tell you, go ahead, try a little bit Gemara, try a little bit Torah, then you resist. But you come and complain that you don't feel anything. How are you going to feel anything? You never tried it. You're like an imbecile kid. You tell him, I don't know, give me a food that people, I don't know, broccoli or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I don't like this. What do you mean you don't like it? You ever tried it? No, I don't like it. But you never ate it. Why? Les Gilgul, you remember it? Your reincarnation, you remember. How do you know you don't like it? Try it. I'll tell you a story for myself. As a kid, I didn't like to eat meat. Fine, so that meat, I don't know, I couldn't swallow meat. I just hate meat. But I didn't like fish. I didn't like fish. And in my family, they eat a lot of fish. My father said to me, try it. No, I don't like it. One day I got an epiphany. I said to my mother, can I have some fish grilled? My mother looks at me and said, you feeling okay? You never like fish. I said, no, I want to eat fish. I don't know why. I remember until today. I said, I don't know why. She said, are you feeling okay? I said, yeah, I want to eat it. So my mother took this fish and she made it in the broiler. And, she put it in the broiler, and when you finish, she puts a little lemon for me, and I ate it, and I'll tell you, heaven. I'm in heaven. It was unbelievably amazing. I devoured the fish. I ate the eyes of the head also. And my mother's looking at me like, what happened to you? I said to her, can I have another one? She says, I'll make you another one, but are you sure you're okay? It was so good. I couldn't believe it. All this time in my life, I didn't eat it. It was delicious. What an idiot. The same thing here. Let me tell you something. it says here that based on what we said from the Gra, Rav Pinkus brings it. He says we are like the livelihood that we have in our lives is like the tail of a lizard or some kind of a gecko that you cut it, you hold it. I remember as a kid, the first time it happened to me, I saw a little, whatever it is, I don't know, lizard, whatever it was, a gecko like this. I want to grab it, so I grabbed, it was cute, I grabbed the tail, I was left with the tail in my hand, and the thing was running without a tail. And it was still moving. Our livelihood that we have is this kind of livelihood, without Bet HaMikdash, without Torah. And he says the following here, based on the words of the Gra, and he goes like this. It says, the difference between Talmid Chacham, a Talmid Chacham, a scholar of Torah, to a person who is not a scholar of Torah, is the difference between life and death. The difference between a Talmid Chacham and a greater Talmid Chacham is another thing. It's called addition to Sefet Chaim, an addition of life. It says in previous generation, they called a person the new fourth Darim. Nashim, Nezikim, Moed, and Zayim. I don't know. They call somebody like this, they call it Chacham. It's a wise man. Misha Yada Chamishas Darim, whoever knew 5 Darim, Kaulo Rav. He became a Rav. Rav Milshon, not Rav fighting, Rav great. So there's a Chacham and there's a Rav. ומי שידע 6 סדרים, he who knew the whole 6 darim, קראו לו גאון. גאון in Gematria 60, right? That he knew 60 masachtot. And that is a person, when you come like this and you go, it changes the whole reality. כי חכם זה לא רב, ורב זה לא גאון. And the difference between one and the other is like the difference between life and death. So even more so, the difference between a gaon to a person who is an ignorant. Ignoramus, he lo yodea klum. That's the difference. And now when we go to the rabbis, we say, well, you're a rabbi, I'm a rabbi. Why? I'm a Jew, you're a Jew. No, yes, technically yes, but practically no, it's not the same thing. Totally different aspects here, totally different realities. Yes, you're a Jew, he's a Jew. You're a man, he's a man. However, he's a Talmid Chacham and you're not. Maybe it's a little difficult for you to understand it. I'll tell you what my martial art teacher told me years ago. Maybe, I don't know what that was. 35 years ago. There are belts in martial arts. I'm a black belt. Grade 99, J.C. Penney. Who said that? Mr. Miyagi, remember? Wax on, wax off. So my teacher told me like this. He says the difference between a white belt and a yellow belt is great. A white belt doesn't know anything. I have to teach him how to basically do everything. How to walk, because you learn how to walk. You learn how to kick. You learn how to punch. You learn how to block. The difference between a white belt and a brown belt is enormous. The difference between a brown belt and a black belt is like the difference between white belt and a brown belt. The difference between a black belt and a white belt is heaven and earth. That you understand. Because you don't have a part in you. It's hard for you to accept that another Jew is superior to you. Because he knows and you don't. Not because he knows, okay, you don't have a problem with your college professor or your dean of your school, because he put the effort. But here you feel guilty because you could be just like that. And the fact that you are not at that level is nobody's fault but yours. And that bothers you. So you throw a tantrum. And that's why you don't like rabbis. That's why you think you are the same. I'm entitled just like you're not entitled just like him. That's why a Talmid Chacham is a Talmid Chacham. However, I want to tell you something else. The life of a Talmid Chacham is completely different than the life of an Am Haaretz. Because he is alive. He is alive. The reality of things, the way he looks at the world, the way the world responds to him back is completely different. That's the way it should have been. Completely. You better think about it very carefully and understand that when you leave the Bet Medrash, abounding us in Bet Medrash, you don't just abandon us. You don't just leave us. You're letting go of life itself. You are no more than the tail of a lizard that is still wiggling in your hand when it's disconnected from its source of life, which is the lizard itself. And it's nobody's fault but yours. To live life without excelling in Torah is not worthy to call life. It's basically death. Have a great day.